Hello and welcome back. Another installment of the Red, White, and Royal Blue book review reaction. Again, I will never not know what to call this. I go through this every time we start. I am constantly lost, but maybe that's just because my brain's a bit frazzled. This chapter sent me in very different directions multiple times. We're feeling a little somber. Actually, we ended happy, but I'll get into that. But, whew, have I been thrown into roller coaster? So forgive me. Chapter 10 has been a ride. Has been a wild ride. Lots of things to think about. Surprisingly, because I know I've got a lot of comment. Again, thank you everyone for all your comments. I love them. But surprisingly, chapter 10 was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I kept, I wasn't putting it off, but I knew it was going to be a full-on chapter. So I kept going I won't do it today. It'll probably be, I could have checked. The book's always next to me. Always got it on standby. But, I kept thinking, it'll just be this massive chapter, because that's what it'll be. But it was a lot shorter than I thought. It was still very good. But yeah, it wasn't, I don't know why. I just assumed it would be really long. But, spoiler alert, I enjoyed the chapter. It was good. I know why people wanted it. It hurt. I didn't cry. I thought I might, but I think overall it was such a good chapter, it didn't get me there. I was literally thinking about it because I knew what was going to take place, and I had my phone ready on me. I was like, well, if I cry, I don't want to cry about it and then not get that because it's such good such good content. So I was I had it ready on standby. I was like, well, I could just do a little vlog insert of me reading, crying if I'm at a bit and talk about it. But I didn't get to. I was kind of sad. Maybe I put too much pressure on myself. But the sad moments were sad, but they were also beautiful, and you had such hope and faith. So I was like, well, I can't cry because I'm invested, and I'm being positive for once. I'm looking at these good outcomes. So I didn't. But yes, very good chapter. We should probably just get into talking about it. Like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. I'll throw that out there at the start. But yeah, let's get into chapter 10. He sends Henry 5 texts the first day, 2 the second. By day 3, none. He spent too much of his life talking, not to know the signs when someone doesn't want to hear from him anymore. Poor baby. It's just, we really, I was going through it with him. These first, 10 pages of this chapter, where Alex is just getting nothing, it hurt my soul. We can all, empathize and imagine. I don't think I've got ghosted before, but I can figure out how that would feel. I can figure it. Hasn't happened, but I can figure it out and empathize with him, and just seeing how much they have loved each other, and then to him just get nothing back. And obviously I can understand, which we're gonna see in this chapter. Alex is a lovely, smart little boy, but sometimes he doesn't think about the other person, which is fine. His heart is broken and shattered. But I understand that Henry is probably going through a whirlwind of emotions too. Things are going on. Things are crazy for him. He has understandably got his own things. Maybe a bit of communication would have been good, but to me, I'm I get it. Henry, I get it. Bit of an asshole move, but I can get there. I can meet you at that outcome. Whereas Alex is kind of fucking asshole. I love him, but I hate, you can love someone and hate someone at the same time. And I get it. I get why he's not thinking, Alex isn't thinking about Henry's side, but you've also got to be again, here's the prince. There's a lot of complications that come with any sort of feelings that man has. Plus, he's just Henry's a little shy boy, and he has such he's sensitive, and opening up can be hard for him, and he shuts himself off. We've established this. All the other chapters, we've established his personality, and sometimes I'm Alex, you're forgetting. He might come, he might figure it out, but I'm happy he didn't, because I like the way they did it. I love the big gesture, him flying to, we'll get, obviously, that's jumping forward, but, you know, him flying out to London and being like, I love you. You know, very, very cute. And a bit different, well, it wasn't very different to the movie. It just, I have slightly, completely forgotten the movie. This has taken over my mind. And the bits I read and I try and remember back, I'm like, shit, what happened there? Or like, did that happen like the book or not? Like, I've been so like gelled and like taking in everything that the book's showing me. I'm like slowly forgetting what happened to the movies. Let me know. I have been thinking about this. This is slightly, it's on topic, don't worry. But should I do a second reaction to the movie? Is that crazy? Or is that like kind of an okay idea? Like, I kind of want to, I don't know, I want to watch it. I want to watch it again. I don't know. It's an interesting thing for me. I think people who would like that would like it and no one else would. But I don't know. It's just been this thing that's like gone around in my mind. But we shall keep going on. I love the way he's just going crazy. He's checking his phone every like hour or 2 hours. He had to limit himself. He's trying to like take his mind off things. He's freaking out. Everything's reminding him. He's thinking of it. Alex can't go. It's just, it's beautiful and it's sad. Like, the way this book, everything is beautiful and everything is not one thing. Everything is multiple feelings, and obviously that's like emblematic of life. But I love seeing it because I'm like, like it sucks and it hurts, but also it's so cute. Like, there's these very opposite thoughts all attached to them. I guess that's what happens when you're like looking on, and like for him it isn't. But in a way, it's cause he cares, and you know, the anger comes from love, and the hurt, you know, comes from happiness, and all these sort of things. But he's even dreaming about him. 2.5 different dreams about sandy hair wrapped around his fingers. A 3-line email, an excerpt dug up from an archive letter. Hamilton to Lawrence, you should not have taken advantage of my sensibility to steal into my affections without my consent. Drafted and deleted. On day 5, Raphael Luna makes his 5th campaign stop as a surrogate, the Richards campaign's token Tufa minority. Alex hits a monumentary emotional impasse. Either destroy something or destroy himself. He ends up smashing his phone on the pavement outside the Capitol. The screen is replaced by the end of the day. It doesn't make any messages from Henry magically appear. Oh my god. He's kind of going like crazy. Rightfully so. Don't worry, I understand. But my poor little guy, I love how he's just like, destroy himself or destroy something else. And that is like, when you're in absolute rage, I understand that, and I'm really happy you picked destroy something else. You know, the phone, for non-people who live in the White House that can just get them replaced, like, whenever, I wouldn't be throwing my phone on the floor, because I'm like, do not want to pay for a new one, that's a lot. Plus, it's my camera. But destroying yourself is a lot harder. I feel like, you know, when you get that feeling, like, you know, it's best to like I don't know, find a lake, throw a rock in it, you know, throw something far, like get your rage out like that, because destroying yourself, whether it be like punching a wall or just like internally exploding, is never going to be good. You see that tropes in movies where people punch a wall and then they break their hand. Dumb, annoying, isn't good for anyone. And then just like sitting in it and stewing in it and not letting anything out can kind of just like slowly eat you away and just be awful. It's never good keeping it bottled in. I don't know if destroying himself is referencing that, but destroying yourself can come in many different ways. Let those emotions out, Alex. I am very happy that you chose to break your phone and not hurt anyone else. That's also a good one. But I was just like looking at it, I'm like, you know what, to be fair, good choice. Good. You know what, if something's gonna have to break, your phone, replaceable. Your heart, oh no, his heart's already broken. Oh no, am I gonna make if I keep going down that line, I'm gonna make myself cry. So we'll be moving on quickly. I'm not afraid to cry. It's just I find it kind of hilarious if I do it to myself, and I'm not giving myself that satisfaction. I feel like also, as I said in the start, this chapter wasn't as long as I thought, and because it was so like good and juicy, I I was circling. I was circling left and right. Some of the pages, I felt like I circled the whole page and was like, well, gonna have to read it out. But I was like, I got to my next circle and I was like, why is he talking to Shan? I was like, shit, I just forgot to circle, to tell myself, to remind me that he's flown to London. Because I was enjoying this chapter so much. Sometimes I was reading it and I was just like, oh yeah, that was really good. And I was like, shit, was I meant to be doing so? Oh yeah, circling it so I can talk about it. This chapter did have me very gripped and engrossed. Like the further it went on, when it gets better, you know, when all the bad stuff's over, I start circling more because I'm back into like, oh, that's cute, that's lovely. But when the shit was going down, I was like, oh my god, I just need to keep reading. I can't actually take any time to circle things. They're having a fucking relationship crisis. I can't just stop reading. We have Alex using his emergency credit card, which I'm like, whose money is that? But sure, I don't actually care. Getting on a flight, first class, of course, with cash. I love it how they said that. Has to go first class. To Heathrow, to London. He's like, I've got to see my mans. I've got to see him straight away. So he rocks up at Henry's place, runs into Shan. Mr. Claremont Diaz, what a treat. Alex has got no damn time. Move, Shan. Miss Bankston called ahead to warn me you were on your way, he says. As you might have guessed, by the ease in which you were able to get through the gates, we thought it best to let you kick up a fuss somewhere more private. Move! I love it how Alex is just like not listening to him at all. He's like, Shan, I kind of respect you. I kind of like you. But also, if you don't get out of the fucking way, I'm going to roll through you. He's like, no one is going to stop me. Not any of the secret London the British police. No one. He's like, he's like, I will go to war over this. In my mind, Alex is just like, I know the president. And she has the codes to all the missiles. You watch out, Shan. Do you want to start war over this? Oh, that would actually been a hilarious line if he's like, I could start a war in your country over this. Let me see the prince. Oh, they could have gone far. I'm happy that they didn't because it's very far-fetched and it makes no sense and it's just comedic. But that's actually kind of hilarious in my mind. Alex just starts screaming upstairs, screaming at Henry's room. Henry, you motherfucker. Alex, says Cash's nervous voice behind him. Cash is like, I don't want to get fired. This shit's like getting serious. Henry, you piece of shit. Get your ass down here. You're making a scene, Shan says placidly. Yeah, Alex says, still yelling. How about I just keep yelling and we see which papers shows up first? He turns back to the window. His arms start flailing too. Henry, you royal fucking highness. Shan touches a finger to his earpiece. Team Bravo, we've got to sit you... For Christ's sakes, Alex, what are you doing? I love that Shan got on the earpiece telling Team Bravo, whoever they are, we've got a situation. Quick, take him out. In my own, what's it called? When I write fan fiction, in my fan fiction, a war started. Alex has told the president to send the missiles. Shan's gotten on to Team Bravo. They've assassinated the first son of the president. This has like gone so far and so crazy, but I love it. I just love that. I love the like, Team Bravo, we're gonna situate. Like, it's so serious, but it's also so cool. It's like from a spy movie, and I think it's great. Henry shows up. They let him in begrudgingly. Well, you know, Henry's gone through a lot. It's also at his family home. No one knows about him except for B, and you know, he's like, you can't just fucking show up here, like, fucking around my house. Like, we've got to be secret. So they go up to his room because, you know, they don't want anyone to show up or like eavesdrop. We didn't know, but Philip and whatever his wife's name is, they were there. So, you know, the house was a bit full. Though, to be fair, I have no idea if they were at the palace. I think they were at the palace, but they kept saying the word apartment, and I was trying to follow, but I was also too frantically reading. I could just reread, but you know what? I'm not going to. I'm already in the video. But I was too frantic about what I needed to see what happened. I was too excited to like get into this good stuff to see what was going to go on, because I was like, are they going to resolve it this chapter or not? I don't know. I knew they'd resolve it eventually, but I didn't know if the books would be different. I was freaking out. So some things I miss, and that is okay, because I was passionate about getting to the good stuff. Alex stares. What? And then we're over? Henry doesn't answer him. Something rises in Alex's throat. Anger, confusion, hurt, bile. Unforgivably, he feels like he might cry. Seriously, he says, helpless and indignant. He's still dripping. What the fuck is going on? A week ago it was emails about how much you miss me and meeting my fucking dad, and that's it. You thought you could fucking ghost me? I can't shut off like you do, Henry. Henry paces over to the elaborately carved fireplace across the room and leans on the mantelpiece. You think I don't care as much as you? You're sure as hell acting like it. I honestly haven't got the time to explain to you all the ways you're wrong. Jesus, could you stop being an obtuse fucking asshole for like 20 seconds? So you flew here to insult me? I fucking love you, okay? Alex half yells. Finally, irreversibly, Henry goes very still against the mantelpiece. Alex watches him swallow, watches the muscle that keeps twitching in his jaw, and feels like he might shake out of his skin. Fuck, I swear, you don't make it fucking easy, but I'm in love with you. A small click cuts the silence. Alex has taken off his signet ring and set it down on the mantel. He holds his naked hand to his chest, kneading the palm, and the flickering light from the fireplace on his face in dramatic shadows. Do you have any idea what that means? Yes, I was butchering it, but I was sad, okay? I was butchering the reading, but the way he goes, I fucking love you, okay? Like, it's crazy because it's obviously he wanted to say it last chapter. He wanted to say it when it was in this beautiful situation when they were they're still one-on-one, but when they're having this romantic time, they're swimming in the lake. It was the perfect time to say it, but it was ruin it. And this, it comes out like an angry omission, but it's still cute. He's like, I fucking love you, okay? Like, I can just see it, and it's beautiful and it's cute. And I was like, I'm like, Henry, listen, and I'm also hearing it. I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, maybe I'll cry, but I was like, I want them to. That line of I fucking love you, okay, just had such feeling behind it. I loved it so much. I need like, I don't know, the script written on the walls, like all my favorite lines. I need to get a wallpaper that's just this book. That'd actually be kind of a cool idea. Then we just get some more fucking depressing things. Alex swallows hard. You're not even going to try to be happy? For Christ's sake, Henry says. I've been trying to be happy my entire idiot life. My birthright is a country, not happiness. The way he's just, from like being so young, he's accepted that. And it's just, you're like, no, I don't give a shit. I'm like, no one cares. We just want you to be happy. Obviously, he lives a very complicated life, and I understand it. The way they, with this book and many medias and books, you just understand a character so much, and you know why they can't do things, and you empathize with them, and you realize, and you just want them to be happy and live in any which way they can, but you're also like, shut the fuck up and just live the perfect life that you can. Fuck like your family or your situation. Just abandon it. Just like love your mans and stop. Because like I go back, I'm like, I know it's the royal family, so you're just gonna fly under the radar, you're gonna live the best life you can, and then I'm also like, fuck your family, just go live with Alex for the rest of your life. I go back and forth really quickly. Like I want all of it and like none of it at the same time. I'm like, meet halfway in the middle, like figure it out. I'm like, you can do it, you're both so smart. Oh my god, Alex groans. So, what? Was this all never going to be anything real to you? And Henry snaps. You're really a complete idiot if you believe that, Henry hisses, the note balloted in his fist. When have I ever, since the first instant I touched you, pretended to be anything less than in love with you? Are you so fucking self-absorbed to think that this is about you, and whether or not I love you, rather than the fact that I am the heir to the fucking throne? You at least had the option not to choose a public life eventually, but I will live and die in this palace and in this family. So don't you dare come to me with a question if I love you when it's the thing I could bloody well ruin everything. I don't even know what I said in that last line. I think I butchered it. Okay, my reading skills, not great. My reading skills in this chapter are really not great. Everything is it's too much for me. Reading it out reading it in your head and reading it out loud is two very different beasts. And reading these beautiful lines and like hard lines and emotional things just hurts. It hurts so much. I don't know why, but like I read it out loud and I'm just like, it's so much more serious when you speak it. I don't know if anyone gets that, but also not many people actually read books out loud. So, but the way he's just like, like, I do love you, but I'm the heir, and you're just like, screw the family. It's hard, and I understand that, and I love the way, at least, Alex is really driven by all his love and emotion, which is beautiful, and I love it. But Henry is taking it in like, I have this family, I have this life, I have this world. There's a lot of practical reasons why us being together is going to be hard or will be hard, and there'll be stressful things and complications, and it might not be easy on us, and it might not make us like Alex is kind of living in the now, which is perfect, and Henry's living, in thinking about the future, which is also good, because I don't think they can do this sort of relationship without thinking about the future, because as cute as they're going to be forever, they definitely have to think about it at some point, and I want them to be happy in the now, but like it's a serious thing, and I completely understand that Henry is like, I do love you, but I have this life, and this life, like, one can ruin the other very easily, or they can be really big problems for each other. And I like the way he's like admitting that, and he's like, there's this part of me that wants to, but what if, there's a lot of this like restraint, but it is good that Alex lives in the now and he's going to fight for this. This is like the best thing about this chapter and Alex's character, that he will fight for it, and we get to see it more and more. It was never supposed to be an issue, he goes on, his voice hoarse. I thought I could have some part of you and just never say it, and you'd never have to know, and one day you'd get tired of me and leave, because He stops short, and one shaking hand moves throughout the air in front of him in a helpless sort of gesture to everything about himself. I never thought I'd be stood here faced with a choice I can't make, because I never imagined you would love me back. Well, Alex says, I do, and you can choose. You know bloody well I can't. You can try, Alex tells him, feeling as if he should be the simplest fucking truth in the world. What do you want? I want you. Then fucking have me. But I don't want this. I'm just gonna keep we're gonna jump a little bit and keep reading. I don't want it, Henry practically shouts. His eyes are flashing, wet and angry, and afraid. Don't you bloody see, I'm not like you. I can't afford to be reckless. I don't have a family who will support me. I don't go about shoving who I am in everyone's faces and dreaming about a career in fucking politics, so I can be more scrutinized and picked apart by the entire godforsaken world. I can love you and want you and still not want that life. I'm allowed, alright, and it doesn't make me a liar. It makes me a man with some word shred of self-preservation, unlike you, and you don't get to come here and call me a coward for it. It's interesting. Like, I get it, but it's hard. I get that, he wants bits of it. It's also very like, some parts of this is too it's too smart for me. Like, I'm not smart enough to get all the like things that they're talking about, which is fine because I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. But some bits of it, I'm like, it hurts me, and I feel like I like that you can relate to both characters a lot, because I understand with like Henry, I don't relate to it, but I can understand when he's like, I don't have that supportive family. I can't just do easily. I can't shout from the rooftops. I can't love you openly all the time. I live in this thing, and then I'm with Alex, and they're like how can you love me and want me but not want this life? I get what he means by that. My heart has been torn back and forth between the two of them. It's like this constantly. I'm like, I get what Henry wants. I get what Alex wants. I want them both. I want them both. And then I'm like, no, Alex is fighting for it. And then I'm like, Henry's life. It's hard, It's hard being a reader of this book when it makes you go so back and forth and like who you want or whose opinion you agree with or what you're thinking, and like I'm going back and forth. That's actually one of the probably best things about this. I feel like I'm going back and forth with them. Like I'm in this to and fro, which is fantastic. Look, I might not be a fucking royal, Alex says. Crosses the horrible rug, moves into Henry's space. But I know what it's like for you, your whole life to be determined by your family you were born into, okay? The lives we want, they're not that different. Not in the ways that matter. You want to take what you were given and leave the world better than you found it. So do I. We can figure out a way to do that together. A perfect way of saying, let's meet in the middle. Like we don't have to live my life, we don't have to live your life. In a way, they both just want to live somewhere where they can both exist together. They want to both do things they both want to pursue, both keep shreds of the people they are. But they're going to have to, when you get in a relationship, you're not going to be the same. You guys are together. You're the same, but you're different. And I like that they're like, we both want to make the world better. We both have this platform. We can use what we have and what we're going to be for the better. And I like that they're so different, but they're so similar. I liked this little bit because it was just really cute. Fuck you, Henry says, his voice breaking, and he gets a handful of Alex's shirt collar, and Alex knows he's going to love this stubborn shithead forever. That's a forever love right there. That's a forever love. Just the thought, like, it's not a perfect story, but it's a perfect love story because it comes with all this, it's really romanticizing this cute little, I want to find are there any single princes anywhere? Because, but I'm not a first son. Oh, that's not fair. I'm going to tell my parents to run for government because I'm like, I want to have a cute love story, actually. Then they kind of go, which really threw me into left field. They went into, like, a hate fuck. They went into sexy times, and I was like, wasn't expecting that at all. That's not where I thought this was going in the slightest, but also, okay. Also, I'm here for it. He realizes suddenly Henry's crying. He swallows. That's the thing. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if this is supposed to be some kind of consummation or if it's one last time. He doesn't think he could go through with it if he ever knew it was the latter, but he doesn't want to go home without having this. Come here. He fucks Henry slow and deep, as if it's the last time. They go down shivering and gasping and epic, all wet mouths and wet eyelashes, and Alex is a cliche on an ivory bread spread, and he hates himself, but he's so in love. He is in stupid, unbearable love, and Henry loves him too. And at least for one night it matters, even if they both have to pretend to forget it in the morning. He tells his too fast brain, don't miss this. Don't miss it this time. He's too important. Okay, let's take the ugly faces back when I'm screaming. I'm like, oh, that hurts. The way he's just like, okay, maybe now, like, rereading it, I'm like, I understand why they have, like, it could be the last time they want to take it, like, it's their last, like, the way he's like, I've got to remember him, I've got to look at his body, like, remember, his eyelashes, where everything sits, like, what he's going to be, because I may never see this again, and I've got to encapsulate him all, and I can't forget this, and, I love him, and he loves me too, and this might be the last time, and you're just like, no, it won't be the last time. If it's the last time, I'm going to riot. Literally, if they didn't make up, I would have, like, ripped this book in half. Luckily, I know it's going to be a good ending, because even if it's not the exact same ending as the movie, it's going to be similar, but I was like, I will throw you out, book. I was like, you hear me? I will fucking throw you out. Because I don't think I could stand it. Like, I think I would be too crushed. I'm sure a lot of books end sadly, like a lot of gay books end sadly, and it would kill me, but this one I couldn't have it. Like, I'm trying to think back. I feel like I haven't read a lot of gay books, but I read Holding the Man, and I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, that movie / that book ended sad. Ended very sad. But back to this one. Alex wakes up alone. The sheets smell like Henry. He knows. 1. Henry isn't here. 2. Henry never said yes to any kind of future last night. 3. This could very well be the last time he gets to inhale Henry's scent on anything. It kills me. It kills me. I swear I'll get happier. I'll get happier, but this was like just thinking that, it could be the last time they were together. My heart was broken. But we have a couple of big paragraphs, and I will do my best reading because I am emotional and my reading goes downhill when I am. But as we're getting into going uphill, hopefully my reading will get better. I just want to apologize. So, to give a quick bit of context, Alex came in. Henry came back in, bought him some tea. They're kind of here to talk about things. He went for a run. He needed to clear his head. He needed to think. He saw Philip on the way, and we get in. I thought, God, that's it, isn't it? Just following the plan. And it's not that he's unhappy. He's fine. It's all very deeply fine. A whole lifetime of fine. He's been pulling at a thread on the duvet, but he looks back up, squarely into Alex's eyes and says, "That's not good enough for me." There's a desperate shudder in Alex's heartbeat. It's not. He reaches up and touches a thumb to Alex's cheekbone. I'm not good at saying these things like you are, but I've always thought, ever since I knew about me, and even before, when I could sense I was different, and after everything, the past few years, all the mad things my head does, I've always thought myself as a problem that deserved to stay hidden, never quite trusted myself, or what I wanted, before you. I was all right letting everything happen to me. I honestly never thought I deserved to choose. His hand moves, fingertips brushing like a curl behind Alex's ears. But you treat me like I do. There's something painfully hard in Alex's throat, but he pushes past it. He reaches over and sets his mug down next to Henry's on the nightstand. You do, he says. I think I'm actually beginning to believe that, Henry says, and I don't know how long it would have taken if I didn't have you to believe for me. Okay. Then, if she does anything well, she writes these beautiful, monologue speeches about, introspection and growing up and, feeling trapped and, not coming from the best place. I will say, she writes it well. She writes these words very well. Just the way, he always knew he was different and he didn't thought that, he deserved to choose. And that comes from, hiding himself, but also being a part of the family. And Alex just believes in him, and that's ignited something in him. And he didn't know if he'd ever get there or how long it would take without Alex. And the way they've just both impacted each other's lives so much. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so sorry about that, Henry says. I wasn't ready to hear it. That night at the lake, it was the first time I let myself think you might actually say it. I panicked and it was daft and unfair. I won't do it again. You better not, Alex tells him. So, you're in? I'm saying, Henry begins, and a knit in his brow is nervous, but his mouth keeps speaking. I'm terrified, and my whole life is completely mad, but trying to give you up this week nearly killed me. And when I woke up this morning and looked at you, there's no trying to get by for me anymore. I don't know if I'll ever be allowed to tell the world, but I want to. One day, if there's any legacy for me on this bloody earth, I want it to be true, so I can offer you all of me in whatever way you'll have me, and I can offer you a chance of a life. If you can wait, I want you to help me try. History, huh? Bet y'all can make some. There's nothing more beautiful, I find, when people it's that trope of they say that they offer all to someone, to give your everything to someone else, to it's not even I feel like some people really don't like that trope, and it's you have to have some of yourself, and you should keep a part of you. And I don't think when you offer all of you to someone else, you never lose yourself. But it's just saying that you like trust and feel so strongly, you want them to be able to have all of you, and all your secrets, all your goods and bads. It's giving them everything you are and can be, and everything that could be. And I just think it's beautiful, and I love that. Like, I love that thought. I think it's beautiful. And I love that he's like, if you can wait, I want to tell people, I want to be able to go on further. Like, if we can get there, I am here for it. When Alex was a kid, before anyone knew his name, he dreamed of love like it was a fairy tale, as if it would come sweeping into his life on the back of a dragon one day. When he got older, he learned about love as a strange thing that could fall apart no matter how badly you wanted it, a choice you make anyway. He never imagined it'd turn out he was right both times. Oh, I just love that. I love that he's having this like fairy tale love, the one he dreamed of, and it just really fucking helps. And this is why I circled it, that his boyfriend happens to be a prince, because it makes it way more fairy tale and way more cute, and I think it's hilarious. Then they spend time together, they like check their phones, they have a beautiful day, they watch some TV. Two bits that I really liked going up. I suppose we do have to face the consequences at some point, he says. Alex sighed. I don't think I told you, but when she fired me, she told me that if I wasn't 1,000% serious about you, I needed to break things off. Henry nuzzles his nose behind Alex's ears. 1,000%? Yeah, don't let it go to your head. Miss President was right about some things, and I think it's so cute because they're like talking about her because they have a voicemail from her and they're so worried, but he's also like, but yeah, like I kind of had to be like really sure about you because you're the Prince of England, but also I wasn't 100% sure, I was 1,000% sure because I was so in love. And then that's just like another way of admitting it, and then it's that cute like 1,000%, like, do you really love me that much? And they're still back to banter. That was kind of the bit, like, they've had a bit of it, but I'm like, yes, they're back to cute banter. They're in love. They're a forever couple. I was thinking about that, though, Henry says. The chance being with me is going to keep ruining your career. Congress by 30, wasn't it? Come on, look at this face. People love this face. I'll figure out the rest. Henry looks deeply skeptical, and Alex sighs again. Look, I don't know. I don't even know, like, how being a legislator would work if I'm with the prince of another country. So, there's stuff to figure out. But way worse people with way bigger problems than me get elected all the time, which I thought was like very funny, very true. But I was kind of like, how is he going to follow his career? He could probably be in some sort of politics, but I was also like, I felt like last chapter really set up the fact that Alex doesn't care anymore. In a way of like, I think he could be content without that life. When he was talking about being at the lake house and be like, I could just be here, this could be my life. I felt like, even though he's still thinking about politics and it's something he wants to do, which is good, he has passion, he has dreams and drive, I felt like last chapter set up really well the fact that maybe that's not what he will do or ever do, which obviously I think he will, but the fact that he can be so content in Henry's love that it's fine with him whatever comes his way, I think that's beautiful, and it just makes the chapters flow really well. I think those 2 points were done fantastically. And then at the end of this little bit, because we get the cute museum scene, but I just liked that he listens to the voicemail from his mum. Diaz, you insane, hopeless, romantic little shit, says the voice of the President of the United States, muffled in the bed. It had better be forever. Be safe. We love a supportive president. We love Mumsy being the best. But then they go, we get the museum scene, which I understand is a lot of people's favorite scenes, I'm pretty sure, and obviously for right reason. It's very cute. It's a lot like, obviously it was going to be longer in the book, but I was really surprised by like how much like detail they went into about like different exhibitions, but it was showing off Henry's passions. But We start with the grounds are sloping, white tiles carrying the sounds of their feet as they run. Sturdy Victorian bricks tower into the night, framing the courtyard, and Alex thinks, oh, the Victoria and Albert Museum. Henry has a key to the V&A. There's a stout old security guard waiting at the doors. Can't thank you enough, Gavin, Henry says, and Alex notices a thick wad of cash Henry slips him in a handshake. Why does Henry become so cool sometimes? I love it. He's usually like, the like, not uptight one, but he's the one that follows the rules, and he's like slipping cash in handshakes and like sneaking in and has keys to everyone. I think it's so cool, and the way they just like sneak in and they go to his like he's showing him his favorite place, and I think I circle a bit, but the way we get to like when you show people like the place that you love, it's so personal and deep. And experiencing that connection between them is just adorable. He's cut off mid-sentence by Alex because Alex has stopped in the middle of the corridor and yanked him backwards into a kiss. Hello, Henry says when they break apart. What was that for? I just like, Alex shrugs, really love you. It kills me. It kills me. And I love it so much. It's so cute and just disgusting. It's fantastic. I got a lot of comments from the movie. I'm like thinking about it. I got a lot of comments when I did the reaction to the movie when I was like, God, I feel so single. Yes, like that is what that movie makes you feel. B, wow, if only I knew, because that movie made me feel single. So did this, baby. This made me feel bad too, and it still does, but like in a different way. I appreciate their love, but God, does it kill me? It strikes a stake through my heart. This side's my heart. Stake through my heart. It kills me a lot. It really, but I love it. It's one of those things where it's like something that hurts. It doesn't like hurt that much, it does make me feel lonely. But it's one of those things where you're like, it hurts, but I love it. I love it. Can't stop reading. Going into this beautiful bit, which I talked about earlier, also there's a word that may be Pisa or Piazza. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna jump over it when we read through. But in here, at night, it's almost like walking through a real piazza, Henry says. There's nobody else around to touch you or gawk at you or try and steal a photo of you. You can just be. Alex looks over to find Henry's expression, careful, wanting, waiting. And he realizes it's the same as when Alex took Henry to the lake house, the most sacred place he has. Again, that's what I was talking about earlier. To experience that and to see them do it is beautiful. Like, I feel like everyone has that, and it doesn't have to be, I think there can definitely be more than one place, and some of them may be grand, like a museum, or like, cool, like a lake house. They can be very small, just emotional connections, but I feel like everyone has a place like that, a place that is theirs, you know what I mean? Somewhere where they go, it may take people or enjoy, but it's different places with such connection. And when you can bring someone into that, you could bring lots of people there, but when you bring someone like into it, a place can definitely be somewhere where a lot of people can go, but only some people you bring and they enter with you. You know what I mean? It's hard to distinguish, and I'm trying to like articulate it, but there's a difference between being there with someone and like being there with someone, or being invited in there with someone. And I think that just like distinguishing that is so beautiful, and knowing when people are in love and that happens, it's just delightful. I like the thought of place and space, and how they interact in the context of why you're there. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I love it, and I enjoy it. I think opening up is delightful, and I love every bit of it. Then we get one of the cutest fucking scenes that exists in, like, ever. When I was younger, Henry says, I had this very elaborate idea of taking someone I loved here and standing inside the chapel, that he'd loved as much as I did, and would slow dance right in front of the Blessed Mother. It's just a daft pubescent fantasy. Henry hesitates before finally sliding out his phone out of his pocket. He presses a few buttons and extends his hand to Alex, and quietly, Your Song starts playing on the tiny speaker. the way they just like they get to have that moment where they play the music, they dance. It's a bit different because I feel like he tells Alex about that in the movie, and then Alex plays the song, which I kind of think is more cute. I like the way they did that. It makes sense that Alex would initiate that. I feel like in their characters, I really liked it in the movie, and seeing all the emotions on their face and just being able to be there and experience that with them is so cute. And like I can see the scene in the book, I can see the scene in the movie, and they're so like similar, and it was done well. And I think the beauty is not lost in the movie on it, and everything adds more in the book, but the movie did it well, and it was just so cute and so beautiful. And it will definitely be in the thumbnail to this one. Sometimes I struggle to pick what pictures I put in the thumbnail, but I know what's going in this one, and I can't wait because I love looking at pictures from that scene because it's just adorable. But we're actually we're at the end of the chapter. We've got one final paragraph to read. This is a big one, but I had to circle the whole thing because it was kind of perfect. Henry charters a private plane to get him back home, and Alex is dreading the dressing down he's going to get the minute he's stateside, but he's trying not to think about it. At the airstrip, the wind whipping his hair across his forehead, Henry fishes inside his jacket for something. "Listen," he says, pulling a curled fist out of his pocket. He takes one of Alex's hand and turns it to press something small and heavy in his palm. "I want you to know, I'm sure, 1,000%. He removes his hand, and there, sitting in the center of Alex's calloused palm, is a signet ring. "What?" Alex's eyes flash up to Henry's face and find him smiling softly. "I can't." "Keep it," Henry tells him. "I'm sick of wearing it." It's a private airstrip, but it's still risky, so he folds Henry in a hug and whispers fiercely, "I completely fucking love you." At cruising altitude, he takes the chain off his neck and slides the ring on next to his old house key. They cling together gently as he tucks them both under his shirt. Two homes side by side. Honestly, that could be the fucking end of the book. That could be the end and I would be satisfied. Two homes side by side, and like giving him something that's like, I don't know if it's he's like, I don't want to wear it anymore. It may not be important to him, but it's a piece of him, and important maybe not to Henry, but it is important, and it means something, and Alex can have it, and he can have a piece of him, constantly by his heart, like one of his homes, which I think is delightful. He feels so like that he's a piece of him. Like Henry in a way becomes as one of Alex's special places and vice versa, and I love it. I love their love, and this chapter was delightful. And I think from chapter, 7, 8, 9, 10, like the 3 before this, leading up to it, I think did such a good job to get us here. I I'm lost for words. That's how, and I never shut the fuck up. So, that's when it's good writing. But, to have chapter 7, about Henry, chapter 8 about Alex, and chapter 9 to have them both and the crescendo of love, and then, the fall off, and then this, deal with that pain, and then, they know each other so well, and they figure it out with all the backstory that we know about them, and then for it to go forward is so fantastic. And it's just like these 4 chapters have been really like perfect. Like obviously the first 6 were great and lovely and fun and cute and the best and very horny. But having these last 4 have been so intimate and serious and also horny, but like beautiful, and I just love them so much. And I think we've got 5 chapters left, plus the collector's edition chapter, which I will read. Don't worry, I will find it. So I know, I think it's online somewhere. I will be reading it. I think I can find it online. I also have a friend that can send me pictures of the pages, because as I said, this book sold out everywhere. I couldn't find the collector's edition anywhere that wouldn't come in months, but I will get there. I'm so happy to, that chapter fulfilled me so much. Like it brought me down and then built me right back up, which was fantastic. And I have this new sense of greatness and strength to go forward. And obviously I know it's not going to be easy, because we're going to have to get, how the letters release, and I'm interested to see how and why, like, because in the movie it was that dumb reporter guy, journalist, he definitely did it, but I want to know what it's going to be like in the book, because that'll obviously be different. But I'm excited for it. I'm braced for it. I'm scared. I'm worried, but like I'm ready going in. Like I felt like after this chapter, it's just solidified everything. I'm like, we can face anything. We'll be fine. And I'm in love with their love, and I'm so excited to see them going forward and really like stride through the rest of this book, because they are, you know, they're 1,000% about each other. They're ready to go. They're good and they're solid, and I'm so happy about it. But I think I'll just talk in circles and keep saying the same thing if I keep going, because I'm in love with them and they are the best. But for now, I hope you enjoyed chapter 10 and you've been enjoying. And I hope to see you in the next one. And I hope you are having a fantastic day.